Okay, so it's Sunday here in Luque, Paraguay, and I was just watching a television show, a discussion show, about the government response to the large wildfires which raged throughout the Paraguayan Chaco this past summer. It was really a terrible situation. Tens of thousands of hectares were burned. A lot of profitable land went up in smoke for the time being, and the government response was, of course, abysmal. But it got me to thinking about a point of interest for people who are thinking of moving here, and that is the situation of Paraguay regarding natural disasters. And if you are thinking of moving here and you need some help with getting your residency, check out my webpage, paraguaymike.com. My wife is a lawyer and she's been providing the residency services for 10 years now. So anyway, back to the topic at hand, natural disasters. Paraguay is, I think, one of the safest countries on the face of this planet when it comes to natural disasters. I mean, the big natural disasters that we all know, hurricanes, for example, non-existent. There's no coastline here. Tornadoes, yeah, we do get tornadoes here once in a blue moon. I've been living here now for 15 years. I don't recall a tornado ever happening. I think maybe like 7 or 8 years ago, there was a suspected tornado, but I don't know if it was determined to actually have been a tornado or not, but it was basically inconsequential. I think some houses got knocked down or something, but I don't remember anything more than that. Earthquakes, Paraguay is blessed on that front as well, because we're far enough away from the Andes Mountains. Our neighbors, unfortunately, have to suffer through that. So, I mean, Chile, Ecuador, Peru, all those nations that ride the Andes Mountains, they have to deal with earthquakes. We're fortunately far enough away that we don't. Aside from that, flooding. Paraguay does experience some flooding. The rivers do break their bounds every once in a while when there's really heavy rain in the Amazon and it makes its way down through the river. The country does experience flooding, but it's basically always in predetermined areas. It's always the same areas that get washed out. And while it does create a huge inconvenience for the people that live along the river, the rest of the country is basically unaffected. So, with the exception also of some of the streets in Asunción, the drainage is so poor that when there's really heavy rain, you have to deal with basically ponds that accumulate in the road that you have to drive through, and people stall out and everything else. So there's that inconvenience. So basically, the major natural disasters that I've listed aren't a factor here in Paraguay, but there is one natural disaster that does occur here, and in the last several years it has been recurring almost every year, and that is the situation of drought. And I'm going to attach a video here that I took back in 2020 and I never posted, and to give you a look at what the drought looks like here in Paraguay. So here we are in Asunción, and it is the Great Drought of 2020. We haven't had a good rain in the country for months. I would say probably about 6 months. You can see the damage that it has done over time to all my plants, all my small plants here. First of all, everything is buried in leaves from my mandarina that have fallen. And you can see it's just all dry. It's been impossible to plant anything because of the drought. So I just let it grow here, but even the weeds and everything are all dead. And you can see the effect that it's having on all my citrus trees. I get out here about twice a month maybe, and I water in all my stuff, but that's not enough. And over the long term here, my citrus trees are taking a beating. So this weekend I came out here and I decided to do something about it. I put in a homemade irrigation system here. Basically all I did was I ran PVC and then put a connector in that I can open, or that I opened, so it will function basically as a nipple for irrigation. I did one line of trees. You can see this line here still needs to be done, but I'm only one person, so I'll be out here next weekend doing it. But I've got a lot more to put in. I don't want to lose any trees. It takes a long time to get a tree to produce, and I don't want to lose it. You can see I haven't cleaned out here in a while, so. And I didn't really adjust these things scientifically, so you can see some of them are really cranking out water, other ones aren't, but I'm too tired to do anything about it right now. I'm fixing to take a shower and get out of here. It's Sunday. I gotta get back to Luque, and I got work on Monday. But you can see the citrus trees, they don't handle the drought very well. And all I did was connect this back here to the spout here. So it's as simple as opening the switch and turning on the irrigation. But it's freaking horrible. And even all the small trees and everything, all this stuff I water every couple weeks, but not enough. This thing, I don't know if it's gonna make it. Very good lemon tree, but it's hating life. Anyway, other people have it far worse than me. And people that live from the land, and people that have cows and whatnot. And you can see the overgrown garden. And they're really in bad shape. But hopefully I'll be able to save my citrus trees. We'll see what happens. Okay, so that was me back in 2020 dealing with the drought, and that was the worst one that I personally have experienced here. We did have one, a big one, I think back in 2011, 2012, 2013, sometime around there. And then since 2020, I think 2 of the last 4 years we've had drought conditions, including this year, which is why we had the large fires which occurred in the Chaco. But yeah, 2020 was really a bad and long drought, and it was also occurring at the time of the whole COVID fiasco. And so, you know, you can see me in that video when I was super stressed out. At the time I was dealing with, you know, on my job we have over 70 employees. We had half of them laid off. People were working for half salary, and our income from customers was way down. It was just a huge stress fest. But I think that gives me an idea too. Maybe I'll do a video about the COVID situation here and how Paraguay handled it. I took some videos back in the day, and a lot of them I didn't post because they were kind of gloomy. But anyway, that's the natural disaster that you really have to think about dealing with if you're going to come here to live. If you're trying to do any type of agricultural activity, you need to have a well, and you need to be proactive and and put in a decent irrigation system. Now in my situation, I had the well, but I never did put in any type of irrigation until I had to do that fly-by-night thing that I did to save my trees. And even though I did that, I did still end up losing, I think, 4 or 5 different citrus trees that they just couldn't take the stress. So, and that kind of sucks because it takes a long time for them to start producing, and so you got to go without that production for a few years. But anyway, I don't want to ramble on here. That was the video. Hope you found it informative. If you did, maybe give me a like. Help the channel out. All right. And I almost forgot today's video sponsor of the day, which is once again Folks beer, brewed here in Paraguay, down south in the area around Hohenau. Good beer. This particular beer is made with mate, which is a drink that the locals drink, like a tea. They also use for tereré, which is cold tea, basically, in a nutshell. Water soaked in this plant. Anyway, that's it for the video. So, adios amigos.